In this video, we all wonder where the fuck Zaney is. What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. This one covering 10 hours of Mermaids domain, otherwise known as underwater thieving. Without further ado though, let's go ahead and get straight into the loot. Okay, can I just point out, I spent 10 hours and got 327k. It's an upsetting day for me. So this is the loot that we got. Obviously it's very bad. The main thing to take away from this is that it's very decent for fossils though. We got 39 small, 15 medium, 15 large and 6 rare fossils. All of the fish you can see were got from buying 67 fish bowls with the mermaid tiers you get from this method. But because I'm only 65 fishing, it wasn't very good loot. I would have been better off buying seaweed spores, which would have brought this up to over a mil, or merfolk tridents, which would have brought this up to close to a mil as well. So keep that in mind. If you're a low fishing level, you don't want to be buying fishing bowls like I did. I just did it to test them out. With that said though, let's go ahead and get straight into the stats. So rather than read the stats out to you like usual, I've come to the unique conclusion that I think most people can probably read by now. So as the stats play out on the screen, I'm going to comment on the important things to do with these stats instead. Starting off with the experience rates, there's a few things that you need to know. The first is that this method directly scales with your levels. And I started with 84 thieving and 78 agility, and I ended with 87 thieving and 79 agility. So you can expect better or worse experience rates per hour, depending on your levels compared to mine. The other thing to note about this is that I did use the tiers that you trade in for experience rates for split experience rather than doing it just for thieving or just for agility, and in my opinion that's the way to go with this method. The best way for you to know if this is efficient for you to do is to compare doing this method for an hour to doing half an hour of thieving at your level and half an hour of agility at your level and see how it compares across. Generally speaking, from what I found, it compares very favourably and it just sits around the average you could have got if you were training just thieving or just agility alone. In other words, this method is ideal for people who don't like doing traditional agility or don't like doing traditional thieving to train both of them at once in a more unique way without actually really losing out on any experience. So just to briefly revisit the absolutely awful loot that we got from this. Basically, it's a profit neutral method. If you did pick seaweed spores or merfolk tridents instead with your tiers, you would get a bit more money, around 100k profit per hour, but it's nothing to really write home about and it's not really significant at all. The TLDR of this is basically, you're not going to make lots of money, but you're not really going to lose money either. You do this because you want the experience and nothing else. In terms of the additional stats, there's a few things to note. The first one is, on a successful thief of a clam, you get both a mermaids tier and a glistening tier as well. You trade in the glistening tiers for experience, you trade in the mermaids tiers for the god-awful loot from the shop. One thing I did note is that the bowl of fish that you get from this actually scale with your fishing level. I didn't know that when I first got them, obviously, and it's clearly not worth opening them with 65 fishing. I imagine if you're at something like 90 fishing, it may be worth opening then, but even then, I don't imagine the profit per hour to increase by that much. Just briefly as well, in terms of fossils, this is a very good method of collecting them, but to be honest, I don't imagine many people will be doing anything on Fossil Island specifically to collect fossils, so it's just an added bonus more than anything else. In terms of the method itself, I just basically describe it as really strange and a really unique method compared to other methods of training your skills. One thing I would note as well though is that there wasn't really any guides online for doing this, so it takes a bit of a learning curve when you have to teach yourself how to do it, so I will try to make a guide on this sometime, probably this weekend, just so people who want to try this out actually have a point of reference. With all that said though, the main thing you need to know about this method is that it trades out the intensive clicking of thieving for intensive focus and a use of intuition instead. Basically, the more efficient you are at navigating the arena using your brain and just clicking in the right places at the right time, the better your results are going to be. When you actually get to the place where you're supposed to be looting, it then becomes a lot more like a traditional thieving method temporarily, but you always have to be keeping in mind where the next one might appear and also manage your oxygen level effectively as well. The one thing that can be quite frustrating about this method though is that the clam or chest that you can actually loot is basically completely random. I never found any pattern to it, so you can end up doing really well for 20 minutes and then in the next 20 minutes just be a constant struggle of trying to get to place before it randomly switches again. So you do have to be ready for that. It's not like a consistent training method necessarily in the short term. You have to do it over a much longer period to find any sort of consistency in it. With that said, the main draw of this method is that it is a very unique method. It makes you play the game in a different way. So I would personally suggest that people do give this a try before passing judgment on it. It does have a bit of a learning curve, but it is a very interesting method, and frankly it's just refreshing compared to doing normal thieving and normal agility. With all that said though, that is it from me for this video, so I do hope you enjoyed and found it helpful. And as always, if there's anything else you'd like to see, feel free to drop me a line down below and I will do my best to make it happen. And on that note, I'd like to give a quick shout out to this Redditor here. I'm not going to read your name out loud for obvious reasons, but thank you very much for the suggestion for this very unique method, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So I hope you're all having a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!